Hey, what's up everyone? So today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to look at the Robinhood database. And if you're not familiar with Robinhood, they are a brokerage firm that allows you to trade and invest in stocks. They're very popular amongst younger investors. So maybe we'll do some hypotheses about, what younger investors are holding or not holding. And so we're going to get our data from this web track. And what they do is they have a leaderboard of some of the popular stocks Robinhood users are investing in currently. They provide a Kaggle environment that we're going to use for this video. So just create a Kaggle account and you can get access to this Robinhood data set. You'll notice we're already importing NumPy. We have pandas here. And we have this directory called Kaggle input. And so let's take a look at what's in here. We'll print that out. So we're going through all these file names. And notice we have all these different CSV files and these different tickers. These are the holdings that we're interested in. What we'd like to do is we want to put these files into one data frame that we can manipulate and use. So let's get started with that. So first thing we're going to need to do is, let's just comment out this print statement here. What we want to do is we want to use a function called read CSV, and it's in the data frame, pandas data frame as a function. So to do that, we'll say pd.readCSV. And what we're going to do is we're actually just going to take the file name that we printed, put that in here. So for each of these file names, we're going to read that CSV file. And we also want to put that into a data frame. So we're going to say df is the name of the file. And notice we also have this history tar.gz file here. We don't care about that. What we want to do is just look at all the files in this popularity export folder. So we're just going to change our file path here. Here we go. And if we run that, and what we want to do is for each of these data frames, so for each of these CSV files, we're going to create a data frame. We want to append it to this data frames list here that I've already created for us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to concat those data frames. So this may take a second or a few minutes. So you notice here we need to append these data frames into this list here. So to do that, we're going to say dfs.append our data frames. So let's run that. And that may take a while, a few minutes. So it looks like this has gone through. So we have a list of these different data frames. What we want to do is we want to use a function in pandas called concat. So I'm going to create a new data frame and we're going to say pd.concat. And we're going to concat this list of data frames. And we need to specify axis equals 1. So let's run that. And hopefully that won't take too long. And then we will output df.head. And there we go. So you notice we have appended all these different CSV files. So we have the users, the timestamp and the users holding. You'll notice that our columns aren't unique. So that's a problem. What we need to do is what we like to do is add the tickers to each of these columns. So the tickers for the timestamp and the user holding. And we'd also like to have one timestamp as our index instead of multiple timestamps here. So to do that, what we're going to do next here is we're going to specify what the ticker is for each of these CSV files. So to do that, we can do that pretty easily. We're going to say ticker equals, and we're going to take the file name here, which we have outputted here, and we want to strip it. So we want to actually just look at, we want to remove the .csv from that, and we want to lower that. We can output ticker. And so once we have that, because what we're getting is we're getting a file name, we're just getting the name, the ticker name and .csv. And so we want to move .csv to get the ticker. So that's the variable there. And next what we want to do is we want to specify the columns when we create our data frames from when we're reading them. So to do that, we can say names equals, and these will be the column names. So ticker is what we're getting here, and we're going to add that to the timestamp column. And we're also going to take the ticker and we're going to add that to the users holdings column, users holding column. So that should work there. And we need to say header equals 0. So we can remove that. And now you notice we'll have a new data frame. So let's run that. See what that looks like. So there we go. You'll see we have the output here, df.head. And you can see we have the tickers for each of these columns. Now what we want to do is we want to take this timestamp. We would like to have it in by day, and then we want to set the index to be the timestamp. So to do that, again, we have to modify our data frames before we append them. And so to do that, we're going to say df, and we're going to say ticker plus, again, the timestamp. And that's going to be equal. This is going to be a new column that we're going to create. And we're going to say pd.datetime, or to datetime. And what we're doing here is we're taking this column for each of these files, and we're converting it to a datetime index. So we're going to say datetime, and we're going to look at the specific column we're going to look at is the ticker plus timestamp column. And we're going to convert that column, because right now these aren't datetime values. So we want to convert that, put it into the column called ticker timestamp. And once that's done, we want to set the index. So to do that, we're going to create a new data frame. So we're going to say df.set index to that timestamp column, to that date timestamp column. So ticker plus, and again, it's timestamp. So let's make sure this is all correct here. That looks good. And then finally, we want to, again, say that we want daily values, because you'll notice some of these are in specific seconds and hours. So we want to resample. So we're going to say df.resample, which is a function inside of pandas, which allows you to resample the data into day, month, year, etc. So we're going to say d for day, and we're going to take the max value, because you can take the average, you could take the minimum. We want the max value. And so that should work. Let's run that. Hopefully that will work. All right, that looks like it worked. So you'll notice we have the name of the users, the name of the ticker and the user holdings for each of these different tickers, and we have the timestamp as our index. So in our next video, we have the data frame that we're going to work with. We can start manipulating, doing the fun stuff. We can look at this data set and understand, what are the highest amounts of holdings per user, etc. So if you like this video, please subscribe. Till next time. Thanks a lot, guys.